The most genius cannabis scam ever. Bro, you getting scammed over cannabis is that gotta be crazy as hell. You should give up on that then.
Imagine being able to grow your own weed from home, completely legit, with just a few clicks. You buy the plants online, and a company cultivates them for you in real greenhouses. When the harvest is sold, you get a cut of the profits. The cannabis market is booming, and the
Wow, what a genius idea though, chat. What a genius idea for whoever did this.
returns are huge, massive even. So you keep
66%
investing,
in
possibly
return.
spending your entire savings. And then, one day,
the company's
it's
gone.
all gone. That's exactly what happened to thousands of clients who invested in a firm called Juicy Fields. And the story behind all this is just wild. A flashy, revolutionary startup sponsoring international cannabis expos. A promo video starring a German rapper packed with hidden clues. A CEO with an Ivy League degree.
Bro, the companies who hire or buy these rappers and celebrity to do all this stuff is just so dumb, dude. And especially, bro, those rappers and people are there for money. Do you think they really care about people buying or not buying that shit? They don't even give a damn, dude. They're just there for their own money, whatever they are getting from doing that ad.
Who barely speaks English. A business address leading to a castle and a group of fake aristocrats. Alleged criminals trying and failing to smoke joints through the slits in their Guy Fawkes masks. Hundreds of millions in losses. Investigations all across Europe. And a mysterious mastermind secretly pulling the strings.
Money, money, green. Started with a dream. Now we getting rich now, me. Money, money, green.
Ooh, the banger, bro.
Grown as a motherfucking team. Money, money.
Juicy Fields, the most genius cannabis scam ever. Let's get it.
The story of Juicy Fields was originally covered in depth by a brilliant 8-part investigative German
this thing
podcast
was huge,
called
huh?
Cannabis Cowboys. We spoke with one of the creators for this video, and also partly based our research on a great YouTube documentary by Despurer. You'll find both links in the description.
Okay. Rise and fall.
Cannabis is booming, and not just on the black market. As of March 2025, 54 countries have legalized weed for medical or recreational use.
Yes.
And that number keeps growing, constantly. Estimates suggest that legal cannabis sales in Europe will soon have increased more than tenfold in the last 5 years, 2020 to 2025. Despite being a young industry, the market is already dominated by a few major players, publicly traded companies worth billions of dollars. But one startup is set on shaking things up. In 2019, Juicy Grow officially launches in Berlin, pitching an innovative business model.
Bro, why all these scams are always from Berlin, dude? For real. So many of them, so much crazy shit happens in Berlin, man. I don't know how many videos, so many videos Fern team have made, and most of them were from Berlin. Golly.
Crowd growing. Small investors chip in small investments. Juicy Fields channels the funds, grows the plants, and distributes the profits. Getting started is easy. You sign up, pick a plant, and watch it grow in your virtual greenhouse. The cheapest one is 50 euros. A few months later, the harvest is sold for 68 to 83 euros, yielding up to 66% in returns.
Okay.
Other plants can cost up to 2,000 euros, but will of course generate higher profits down the line.
Right.
Juicy Fields markets itself pretty aggressively. They pay YouTubers to push the platform with affiliate links. They sponsor major weed expos, like Cannabis in Barcelona. And they flaunt their success with flashy stunts, Lamborghinis, pompous parties, lightly clad dancers, and an obscene amount of bling. This promo video takes things to another level. Passengers are handed airplane-shaped joints and welcomed on board by Captain Blunt and his co-pilot Mary Jane. Next stop, a massive hotbox party up in the clouds. Another video shows a relatively successful German rapper endorsing Juicy Fields.
Money in your hands, buy a couple lamps, grow a couple plants, fuck a couple grams.
And then there's this guy here, sniffing cannabis buds like a sommelier. Just moments earlier in the video, he was playing Captain Blunt. He's the CEO of Juicy Fields, Alan Glantz, the face of the company. His mission is to take down the cannabis oligopoly, legal weed for everyone, the Robin Hood of ganja game. On the company's website and his LinkedIn profile, he presents himself as a visionary entrepreneur, but despite his supposed Ivy League degree, in interviews his English is, well, pretty shit.
The guys is incredible, is working the perfect. I'm not know it's about the how many, 5-star.
But the message still hits home. A tight-knit community forms. And to be fair, apart from the CEO's sketchy resume, Juicy Fields seems pretty legit at first glance. The website lists several renowned cannabis producers as partners.
Those are a lot
They
of
offer
partners.
tours of real greenhouses and webcam live feeds of the crops.
Really?
They actually keep their promises, frequently distributing major payouts. In 2021,
until one day they got greedy, or they were like, F this, we out of here, and they took everything?
Juicy Fields harvests a staggering 72 tons of cannabis. They claim their production costs are just a tenth of their competitors. After only 2 years, the platform already has 500,000 investors,
Wow.
mostly from Germany, but also from Austria, Spain, and Portugal. Juicy Fields is a massive success.
Bro, that thing is huge, bro. Never heard about this shit. Damn. They got some billboards and ads and videos and everywhere, bro.
Till it all comes crashing down. On June 3rd, 2022, Germany's Financial Regulatory Authority, BaFin, steps in. It bans Juicy Fields from selling plants in the country. Juicy Fields ignores the order and is fined 1 million euros.
Okay.
On July 11th, some Juicy Fields employees announce a strike. Shortly after, the company's official Telegram groups and social media profiles vanish.
Gone away.
Then, on July 13th, investors are suddenly unable to log into their accounts.
Access denied.
At that moment, Juicy Fields is sitting on investments worth at least 400 million euros.
Wow.
No one knows what will happen with all that money. The CEO has been fired just before the fallout. He drops a series of shirtless video messages swearing he's innocent.
I'm innocent. I'll never take your money, okay, in my sight.
Glantz insists he wasn't really involved in the business. He says the real masterminds were shadowy figures he only met a couple of times in person. Many employees claim to be just as clueless. Some speak of mysterious backers they never saw face to face.
That could be true.
Meanwhile, thousands of investors keep trying to log into their Juicy Fields accounts.
Cannot.
To no avail. At this point, you might think you know what this is. A classic scam. The promised returns were just too good to be true. Tough luck. Too many red flags in the first place. But assume no further. This is just the beginning.
Chapter 2, Power Struggle.
On July 16th, the Juicy Fields website suddenly publishes the full names and contact details of several individuals, people who had never been publicly linked to the company before.
Okay.
The statement accuses them of plotting a hostile takeover. It claims the customer logins had to be frozen to prevent that. This is Nicholas Martin, a journalist at the German public international broadcaster Deutsche Welle. He has followed the case from the start and spent over a year investigating it. He explains that Juicy Fields split into two fractions. The old Juicy Fields, made up of the platform's original founders, and the new Juicy Fields, a group of individuals based in Germany. These new people are all connected to Juicy Fields AG, a PLC registered in Switzerland, so they seem to have some actual ties to the platform. Their official address is a castle, and many of them boast long and complicated noble titles, counts, dukes, and princes. But according to Martin's research, these people are only fake aristocrats. Their titles are not real. The old Juicy Fields operators zero in on a wannabe nobleman in particular. They claim he stole all the funds and disappeared, hinting that he's hiding out in the Bahamas to evade taxes. They tell him to stop acting nasty, and that they're getting irritated by his actions, especially their guys in black hoods. Leaked documents suggest that Juicy Fields' main bank account was opened by one of those fake aristocrats. If this were true, the new guys from Switzerland would have had direct access to all the money and could run off with it. At this point, it really does look like Juicy Fields was undermined by a criminal gang of fake German noblemen. But the presumed aristocrats fight back. They claim they never had access to the main bank account, saying it was set up with a fake passport and a fake signature. To prove their point, they leak internal documents allegedly exposing the real masterminds behind Juicy Fields, the people running the website and the company itself. According to these documents, 4 Russian-born men are listed as the official owners of the German Juicy Grow GmbH. The leak even includes passport copies for 3 of them. The company's actual CEO appears to be a man named Victor Bittner, a Russian-born German who has stayed completely out of the spotlight until now. But the main shareholder, and the true mastermind behind all of it, is supposed to be a Russian named Paul Bergholz. It also turns out that Juicy Fields wasn't just operating through 1 or 2 companies. The companies in Germany, GmbH Ltd, and Switzerland, AG plc, appear to be linked to at least 6 other European firms. The company's legal imprint starts to get edited on an almost daily basis, and nobody knows by whom. Then, a newly appointed CEO from South Africa speaks up. Again, There's no way to prove this guy is who he claims he is.
Yeah.
In November 2022, Juicy Fields appears to have summoned a so-called anti-crisis committee.
Like, what the
All
hell
attendees are
is
hiding
this
behind
video?
V for vendetta masks. They keep blaming the new Juicy Fields, and even dangle the hopes of recovering lost investments. But the whole thing feels surreal. One of the 6 masked figures tries to smoke a joint through the slit in his mask, and fails spectacularly. It's total and utter chaos. There's countless leaks and docs flying around. There are CEOs, founders, shareholders, presidents, and consultants. But who is really calling the shots? It will soon turn out that all the chaos and confusion is not accidental. It's most likely part of a meticulously orchestrated farce.
Yeah, someone big
behind
is
all these
behind
weird
it.
characters and blatant amateurs is someone who knows exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. The puppet master and his fixer.
October 2021, 9 months before the login freeze. Victor Bittner sits alone in Berlin. On paper, he is the CEO of the German branch Juicy Grow, but he's not the one calling the shots. The real power lies with a small group operating out of St. Petersburg.
Russians.
Bittner is little more than a frontman, a puppet CEO, facilitating access to the German market. He is also the one who set up the German bank accounts that are now full to the brim with millions of investments. But the world is in lockdown, and traveling is nearly impossible. Bittner's bosses are stuck in distant Russia, and Bittner starts wondering, why not take the money and make a run for it? He seizes the moment and hogs 1.5 million euros for himself, but it doesn't go unnoticed. The puppeteers in Russia order their in-house fixer to fix the situation. Bittner is marked for liquidation, but the fixer refuses, opts out, and walks away. About a year later, he blows the whistle. Using the alias Anders, he reaches out to a Swedish lawyer who represents people affected by the Juicy Field scam, Lars Olofsson.
The whistleblower Anders said that I don't want to be a part of this. Yes, I could scam people. I'm a criminal. Yes, but I don't want to be involved in killing people.
Nicholas Martin and the creators of Despair documentary have spoken to Anders as well. We can't independently verify his claims, but Despair was able to prove that he was in fact part of a criminal network in St. Petersburg. Anders says Juicy Fields wasn't just a massive scam, but a perfectly orchestrated puppet show, with a brilliant mastermind pulling the strings on a whole cast of disposable puppets. The most visible of them was Alan Glantz. Anders confirms that he never was some business genius with a degree from an elite university.
Thank you guys for understanding.
He appears to have been a taxi operator in St. Petersburg before his stint at Juicy Fields. His real name isn't Alan, it's Anatoly. They bought him designer suits and a Rolex to make him look the part. The entire Juicy Field success story was carefully staged. The 72-ton harvest, the 500,000 investors completely made up. Most of the big-name partners had no idea they were being featured on the website. The Lamborghinis were rentals. The tours took people to random cannabis plantations with zero connections to Juicy Fields. And the profits from those crops, the sales never actually happened. There was no revenue stream whatsoever to pay out those returns. The truth is that Juicy Fields was never even allowed to sell cannabis-derived financial products. The Berlin Trade Register officially listed the company as a gardening supply business. Everything points to a classic Ponzi scheme. New investors kept pumping in new cash, and the old investors got their payouts from that same pool of money. Of course, the whole system only works as long as it keeps growing. But the masterminds knew it wouldn't last forever. According to Anders, they had a clever exit strategy, a tangled web of shell companies, a bank account in Cyprus, and a few hand-selected fall guys to take the hit.
I'm calling them useful idiots. These are people who are just being paid to be seen and signing papers and so on. They are not the mastermind.
Anders says the entire power struggle was orchestrated too, a big fat red herring to sow confusion and distract people from what was really happening. The accusations against the fake aristocrats, the leaked Russian passports, probably all staged. The passports are fake, the names made up, the photos edited. The only real thing is this: there really was a tight inner circle behind Juicy Fields, and they were really led by one mastermind. His name just wasn't Paul Bergholtz. Anders describes him as a low-key, tech-savvy guy, an IT expert, darknet enthusiast, and die-hard cannabis fan. And apparently he's really into rap. Juicy Fields produced multiple promotional music videos, and Martin's research suggests that the rap lyrics in them were actually written by Paul himself. In one of the music videos, you can see these Russian Matryoshka dolls in the background.
Yeah?
Anders says Paul explicitly requested that, But why? As a hidden Easter egg? A subtle flex? Why would he deliberately draw attention to his home country? Was he so sure that no one could touch him there?
Money, money green. Started with a dream. Now we getting rich now.
And this is not the end of it. Whistleblower Anders claims the entire thing. Juicy Fields, the Ponzi scheme, the puppet show, it was all just a front for an even bigger operation. Money laundering.
Bigger fish.
At the heart of Juicy Fields' finances was a bank account in Cyprus, a country long accused of turning a blind eye to shady financial dealings. That account alone processed over €500 million since it was opened up. The cannabis investments might have been the perfect cover for an old-fashioned money laundering scheme. The dirty money flows into illegal business, blends it into its revenue stream, and comes out clean on the other end. In other words, the Ponzi scheme and the money laundering machine could have been a perfect match. Anders claims the masterminds had direct ties to a Colombian drug cartel. Was Juicy Fields a front to wash cartel money? Martin and his team spoke to the German
Full-on money
prosecutor's
laundering.
office. According to them, Juicy Fields was linked to organized crime in Russia. And St. Petersburg does indeed seem to be the hub. The city is infamous for being a stronghold of the Russian mob. Experts believe an operation of this scale could only go down if it's somehow sanctioned by the Kremlin. Viktor Bittner is believed to be connected to Russia's FSB intelligence service. But this is where the trail went cold for a while. The picture got too blurry and too speculative. Fast forward a couple of years. Finally, a breakthrough. Investigative reporters managed to identify the mastermind at the top, a Russian named Sergei Berezhin. An international research network,
not Paul.
Collective, and other outlets found that he was the one operating under fake names like Paul Bergholz. His network allegedly scammed €645 million from investors and funneled the money through a complex web of shell companies.
Damn.
After nearly 2 years on the run, Berezhin was finally arrested in the Dominican Republic and extradited to Spain in August 2024. There, he now faces charges of fraud, money laundering, and running a criminal organization. Berezhin's father was a Russian nuclear scientist with political and military connections. That adds weight to the long-standing suspicions that Juicy Fields may have been a joint operation between the Russian mob and the FSB, designed to funnel Western money into shadowy activities, potentially even the war in Ukraine. Then there's the alleged whistleblower, Anders. Turns out his real name is Igor Kekshin, and he wasn't just some low-level insider. He was directly involved in the Juicy Fields operation. But in a bizarre twist, Kekshin later revoked all of his statements. Apparently someone tried to kill him, twice. In one incident, his car was blown up shortly after he returned to Russia. The suspects were driving a car registered to Berezhin's father. Someone must have wanted him permanently silenced. Meanwhile,
Damn,
Lars
bro.
Olofsson, the Swedish lawyer who represented Juicy Fields' victims, has come under scrutiny himself. Reports now suggest he may have been playing both sides, working with both the scam's victims and some of its key perpetrators. Berezhin's network was ultimately dismantled. In April 2024, law enforcement across 11 countries coordinated a massive crackdown. 9 arrests, 38 raids, and over 400 officers deployed, all targeting other key players behind the scheme. And yet, despite all this, thousands of victims are still waiting for their money. The Juicy Fields scandal is a textbook case of how reality and deception can blur in massive financial frauds.
True.
What's real? What's fake? Even now, it's hard to say. But one thing is clear. If something sounds too good to be true, it usually
It usually is.
is.
Yeah. W words at the end for sure. W statement at the end for so. Yeah, for real. Every time I have heard, like, when something is really too good to be true, I always say, like, bro, yeah, that thing is too good to be true. Just stay away from that. And yeah, that's what Juicy Fields was. You know, damn. Every time I think that, oh bro, I missed out on this, you know, I missed out to make some, you know, I missed out on taking some benefit of this thing. And then I watched this video, then I'm like, yeah, it was good that I didn't do anything like this. It was good I did not invest in anything like this. Like, never heard about this thing, anything like this, you know. There could be many companies like this running right now, you know. And few years later, you'll think you'll see another same video like this. Oh, this company was doing this to these people, taking money, ran away, boom, arrested, finished, you know. But damn, so And so they had just one man, and everything, most of things were just fake, just showing online. Not a single customer, not a single person was like, oh, I have seen this, I have seen their plants, I have seen the fields, I have seen this person, I have met them in real life or something like that. No one knew that it was all fake videos, fake names, fake information. Everything almost was fake, dude. And the whistleblower who came out, and they even tried to silence him many times, and it's crazy that he survived and he actually told them that what actually happened. Golly, crazy video, dude.